to me at this stage in my life, time is more important than money. This is Nanny's life. This is my life, y'all. But steady. You see this Nanny life. It's my... Hello. You guys had a lot of questions for me based on my last video. So I'm gonna try to answer them. First of all, if you're not following me on Instagram at Nanny's Life, I have a lot of nanny friends over there. You can make some too. So the first question I got is, how did you tell your bosses you wanted to go part-time? That is not what happened. I have been with the same family for almost 7 years, and we've gone through the preschool process with each kiddo, and I anticipated that the youngest would be going 3 days a week this fall, and then I found out she was enrolled for 5 days. So really and truly, it was their decision not to offer full-time hours. My boss basically let me know that baby girl was enrolled 5 days a week, and that they were not, I'm a hot mess, help, and that they were not going to need me full-time. They were not offering full-time hours, and it was really just a conversation of whether or not part-time would work for me. They did prefer to keep me on just because there's a ton of moving parts in that household. So we redefined the role. We negotiated a raise for me hourly, because obviously a big cut in hours is a big cut in pay. And honestly, normally I would not want to work part-time, but I'm exhausted. And to me, at this stage in my life, time is more important than money. Money's still important, but time is more important than money, to me personally. Oh, and to clarify, my hours were cut, meaning I'm no longer on call. So if a kid gets sick at school, the school is calling my bosses, not me. Last minute changes and things like that, I mean, my bosses may ask for my help, but it's not expected that I always jump in and help. We did negotiate which school holidays or teacher work days or like breaks they would need me for ahead of time, so those dates are in my calendar. But other than that, I am free to do whatever I need to do in the time that I'm not contracted to be with them, which is important because, let's be real, I might have to get a part-time job. I might have to babysit a little bit, but that's okay. It's okay. So the second question is, how can you afford to be part-time? And that is a very valid question, because the inflation, the cost of living, functioning in this world simply is not an easy thing. But the truth of the matter is, I'm lucky. Number one, I am lucky that I don't do life alone. I do have a partner. We do split household bills. And because I'm a little bit old school, my partner pays the mortgage for the most part. So that's number one. And number two, I had to slow down my spending, y'all. I went and got a library card. I've cut down on streaming services. I used my Kindle and used Kindle Unlimited instead of buying books like a crazy person. I make coffee at home. I stay my behind out of Target as much as physically possible, and I pay my bills first. And we can talk about like financial literacy and all that good stuff soon here, because I think that's an important thing for people in our industry to, be aware of. But yeah, so I am basically budgeting my butt off. And I'm lucky that I have a partner who works really hard and is essentially keeping a roof over my head. So yeah, that's how. So speaking of coffee, he made himself coffee this morning and did not make me any. So I'm gonna make some coffee at home. Now, friend, I'm not gonna lie. part of the reason I chose to stay was because I love those kids and because we've built a bond. We've had a good working relationship over the years. But the selfish reason, because like I want to be there for like holiday traditions and see their faces light up at like Halloween decorations and Christmas parties and stuff, right? But also, I've been on this job for 6.5 years. I have been in the trenches, okay? I'm talking like the kids were born 2 years apart, and there's been no shortage of overwhelming, challenging, difficult aspects to the job. And I feel like I fought through those things, and I've been so consistent that I owe it to myself to experience this part of their lives too, right? Instead of just swooping in and being the problem solver and then swooping out when things become manageable, I'm trying to hang out when it's manageable. So again, luckily my bosses see the value in me staying on with them, with all the moving parts that they have. But I've never had a job where all my kids were potty trained. I've never had a job where there's no diapers, no real screen time limits. You know, the kids can explain to you what's wrong and you can help them help themselves. Like, I'm trying to enjoy this season. And it's not necessarily super, super easy, because now we have like personalities and, you know, the sibling to sibling relationships to sort of help manage, but it's easier. It is easier. So anyway, I'm not Mary Poppins. I don't swoop in and save the day and then swoop out when you got it handled. And that's so funny. It's like it's the only positive trope that we have of nannies, like in the media in general. But like, not everybody wants to be that. Some people just want to come be part of your team. Not everybody wants to come, you know, do an overhaul on your life and then go home. I want to be there for the joy and the ease and the fun. Anyway, I hope that made sense. Okay, so we moved in this house 2 days before the lockdown, 2 weeks before the lockdown, something like that. So we really haven't had time to like properly love on it. You know what I mean? Like, we live here, obviously, but it's not 100% us. So I have a ton of work to do on my home, just getting it more organized, more user-friendly, more guest-ready, more balanced, and all that good stuff. So it's just like, I'm biting the bullet, because I know. We make it seem like it's cute and easy. You just work part-time and then life works itself out. No, there are sacrifices, there are adjustments. But again, right now, time is more important to me than money. I've always put money first on a pedestal. I worked really hard, you know, but at this point, I need my time. I need my mental health. I need a break. So that's where we are. And let's not forget, I'm trying to do a podcast and make noise, not just in the nanny industry, but in the world. So don't worry, I'm not out here bored. I'm not out here bored. I am, in fact, quite busy. And one day we'll talk about how part-time is really the same amount of work as full-time. Just crammed into less time. But that'll have to be the next chat. Hope you have a good week. Take care of yourself as well as you take care of others, if not better. Yeah. See ya.